Hello YouTube, Totalhenry here. I have a very exciting manga and comic book haul. It's mostly manga. I have about, I think, 32 volumes. This is the biggest haul I've had in a long time, and I'm very excited about it. But I guess to address the elephant in the room, I dyed my hair blue. It's been about a month, and I don't know. It was something I wanted to do. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but for the foreseeable future, I have blue hair, and I don't know, I like it. I do need to shave, though. I think the beard is a little weird with the brown beard is a little weird with the hair, but I'll try and do that tonight. But anyway, blue hair, and let's get on with the manga and the comics. I'm going to start off with the American comics, just because I only have two of them. I got Aquaman New 52. I think this is what's this called, Death of a King. So, yeah, I'm a huge American comic book fan. I don't buy as much American comics as I do manga, just because I think they're, I like manga more, but I read the first three New 52 Aquaman books years ago. I actually have them near me somewhere, and I loved it so much, and as I had a gift card that I was using to buy a lot of these books, and I was thinking I should buy some more comics and some more superhero comics, and I was looking around my room just to see what would be like a good comic or a good series to buy, because I buy books for a lot of different series, and then I just never go back to it, even though I really want to. So Aquaman was one of those series, and I think Aquaman New 52 is fantastic. I know that, while the writer Jeff Johns is while he's working on the series, while he's the writer, it's really, really good. And I've heard that the last few issues, or the last few trade-ins, when he's not on the book anymore, the quality goes down. But so far, he's still on it, so I'm expecting to really like this. I'm going to read the first three first before I get into this one. So, Aquaman New 52. Hopefully I can buy more of these. I still like the New 52 stuff, even though it's been, I think 10 years since it came out. For me, that's still like this easy jumping on point. I've read a decent amount of New 52 comics. So, Aquaman Volume 4. Spent more time talking about that than I thought I would. The next one is Manifest Destiny. This is Volume 2. This is the trade-in Volume 2. So I mentioned a few weeks or months ago, I showed off Volume 1, Volume 1, and I read it, and I absolutely loved it, so I knew I had to get the next one. I think this is a fantastic series, and again, I'm well behind with Manifest Destiny. I think just maybe like 8 or 9 volumes out. For those of you who don't know, this is a story about Lewis and Clark and their expedition across the United States to try to find the Pacific. The only difference is, in this story, there are monsters. They encounter all these different monsters, like there's this octopus here, and it's fantastic. There are a lot of characters based off real people, not just Lewis and Clark, not just Sacagawea, but other people that you might not have heard about unless you're sort of like a history buff. And I love history, and I just think it's really, really fascinating. It's also done really, really well. Again, I'm basing this off of the first volume, the first, I think, 6 issues. This collects issues 7 through 12. You can see it right there. But yeah, so, just like with Aquaman, I'm going to, reread the first one before I get into the new material, and hopefully I will be buying more soon. I actually have a huge stack of comics, so it might not be that soon. It's insane how many comics I buy and then I don't read. It's kind of a problem. So anyway, the rest of the stuff is manga. And in no particular order, I got Welcome to the Ballroom Volume 3. this is another one of those series where I have a couple volumes, I started reading it, and then I just, I'm like, I need to go back to it. And I was looking around my room and I was like, oh, I have the first 2 volumes and I really like this series. I should pick up a volume. I read the first few volumes a few years ago, and since then they've just been sitting on my shelf, and I really, really liked it. For whatever reason, I don't read this online. Maybe I should, just maybe that would motivate me to buy more of the volumes. Just the stories, I think the story's fantastic. It's about ballroom dancing, a subject I know nothing about, but I don't know, there's something I like about it. I like sports, and just the artistry of the dancing. I don't know, it appeals to me. It's a really great comic. I have not seen the anime. I've heard people say it's fantastic, but I'm more of a manga person. Yeah, so again, as always, let me know in the comment section below, like, what are your thoughts on these series are. If you've read any of these. I'm expecting to love Welcome to the Ballroom because I've read the first 2 volumes and I'm expecting this to be just as good. And as always, I will, reread the first 2. Next, I got Yamada and the 7 Witches Volume 1. Now, this is actually a series that I have read. This series is completed, and I've read the entire thing online. I think when it was coming out. This was something that my friend and we were reading, and then we would come to school the next day and we would talk about, the latest chapters. And again, this was one of those series that as I was, buying all this manga with the gift card that I had, I was like, what's a series that I should, continue, or a series that I want to get? And I remembered this series. I have it on just an Amazon, Amazon allows you to have a wish list or something, or you can save stuff. And I had saved this volume on there for maybe later I would purchase it. And I was like, oh, I should get this. I remember thinking this series was really, really funny. I do remember thinking that at chapter 95 or 96, the series should have ended, and then it just continued on. It just dragged on for another 150 chapters. Excuse me. And it just wasn't that good anymore. So, this is still, I think, the good part of the series, and I don't know if I'm going to buy more. I probably am, but maybe once I hit that, part around chapter 95 or something, I might just not buy any more of the volumes, because for those of you who've read this series, you will know exactly what I'm talking about, where the series just took a nosedive. Whatever. But I still have a lot of nostalgic feelings towards it, and I haven't read any of this series in a couple years, so I'll be excited to go back to it. Then I got Platinum End, Volume 4. I am slowly picking up this series. The glare on this is insane. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about this, and I think it's unfair to compare it to Death Note. I understand why people are comparing it to Death Note and Bakuman, and because the same creators have made those 2 series, and I don't think it's as good as either of those series. But that being said, I think this is still a fantastic series. Takashi Obata is one of my favorite artists, one of my favorite manga artists of all time. And again, I think it's a really solid series, and I should be reading this more, maybe finish it online, and then buy the physical volumes when I have the time, when I have the money. So I sound like a broken record, but I will be reading the first 3 volumes before I jump into volume 4. I love Takashi Obata, and I guess Tsumi Oba. I love their works so much that I want to buy all of it. Now, the next series is a little bit interesting. I got Alice 19th Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. So I want to buy as much manga as possible. So instead of buying new volumes off of Amazon, I was saying, well, I'm going to buy used volumes, and the shipping might take a little longer. I might have to pay for shipping, but I can get them for cheaper, which will still be cheaper than buying a new volume. And I just don't really care about that extra week of wait time. And this was a series that I remember reading. I read the first volume years ago when I was in middle school or high school. That was like, 7 years ago. And I thought it was amazing. I just read the first volume. I thought it was absolutely amazing. Let me show some of the art, or first you can pause it and see what it's about. I don't really remember what it was about. I just remember thinking that the series was amazing based off the first volume. It's a shoujo series, and I know the powers have to do with language. And I also knew that it was a short series, about 7 volumes. And the reason I mentioned used books is I was able to get all of these for fairly cheap. Each volume, not including shipping, was $1 to $2. So I thought that I should, just sort of pick up, instead of just buying, one volume of all these different series, let's get a bunch of one series. And this way I can really dive into Alice 19th and really decide, do I like it or not? And it's not a huge commitment. Show some more art from in here. I don't usually read shoujo manga. I don't know why. It's just, I'm more drawn to shonen and seinen manga. But there are a lot of really good shoujo series that I should probably go and check out. So I'm very excited to read that. Now, the next 3 manga volumes are all new releases, and I don't usually buy new releases like right when they come out. I usually wait a while and then I start buying stuff. So I have Kaiji number 8, volume 1. Has a connecting cover here. So I've been reading this series online as it's been coming out, and I've been really enjoying it. The funny thing about Kaiji number 8, forgot the title for a second, for me is I loved it right when it first started. I thought it was really, really interesting. And then it, in my mind, it started to go downhill, and then it went back up. I guess slight spoilers. But initially, the main character, this is a world where kaiji, these giant monsters, attack the city, and they have soldiers who go and fight the monsters. And our main character actually works for a disposal unit. So he doesn't fight the monsters, he just cleans up after it. And that is sort of a battle in and of itself, because sometimes the monsters are still, I think, poisonous, or they might explode. I forget exactly all the details. And I thought, oh, that's really cool. So he's on the front lines in a different sense. And I thought that the series should go in that direction. And then he changed into a kaiju. That's the main character in this kaiju form. And at that point, I thought, this is a little generic, but I kept with it, and the series has since won me over. I still think my initial vision of the series might have been better, or at least a little more interesting. This feels more generic, but it's really well done. The characters are interesting. I'm not crazy about the art. I think the art is fine, but again, overall, it's just kind of won me over. I like the designs of the various kaiju. I'm not a huge kaiju fan. That's not something that I'm immediately drawn towards. But yeah, as I said, I've been reading this every single week or every month, whatever the schedule is, and I like where the series. I like what the author is doing. I think it's still a fun series, even though I think that having him transform into a monster, it's like Attack on Titan. It's like all these other shows and manga. It feels kind of generic to me. I just feel like I'm contradicting myself. It feels generic, but I guess it's generic and mainstream, but it's just well done, if that makes any sense. Then I have Fist of the North Star Volume 2. There's not a lot to say about Fist of the North Star. It's a classic series that won't show up because of the glare. I love Fist of the North Star. I have the entire series in Japanese, and now I will be buying the series in English because I'm a nutcase. I would say that Tetsuo Hara, the artist of Fist of the North Star, is my absolute favorite manga artist of all time. I think Obata might be second. I just love this realistic art style. Realistic. I mean, compared to other manga, it's realistic. I'm not super crazy about the story, at least from what I remember. I like stories that have a little more twists and turns and that are a little more complicated, like Full Metal Alchemist or Death Note, stuff like that. But the art is fantastic, and it's still just such an exciting read. It's a piece of manga history, and these, books are just so well made. This is not usually me to be like, oh, the books are so well made. I just I'm more interested in the story, but these are really nice books. I mean, everyone's buying this, everyone's saying that, but it is such a joy that I bought all these volumes in Japanese of Fist of the North Star. I have the some of the master editions that are in full color. I have like 5 out of 9. They've been out of print. Maybe I'll have a link in the card or something on screen to my manga collection video, so you can see in the video all these different Fist of the North Star volumes that I have. So then I have Record of Ragnarok. I don't know anything about this series. I mean, I think I read the back, but I know it's popular. The cover looked cool. So this was sort of a blind buy. And I thought, I've seen some of the art in like later chapters. I actually think I have a manga, like a Japanese manga magazine that I won in like a raffle that has like a later chapter of this series. But again, I really know nothing, so I might hate this series. I've heard people say it's really good. I've heard people say the anime is really bad. But I am really looking forward to reading this. Not too much to say on it. I'm not going to make any promises about, buying, multiple volumes. Whatever. It's my money. So now the last thing, the highlight of this video, and you can probably know what it is from the title of this video, is City Hunter. So there's a funny story here because how do I want to say this? So I watched a manga YouTuber called the Omnibus Collector, and he was talking about City Hunter in one of his more recent manga haul videos. It'll be recent when I upload this. And I knew City Hunter was a famous series. It was a famous shonen series. I think it was in Shonen Jump the same time that Fist of the North Star was in the 80s. It's a 35 volume series. There's a lot of action, and there's also a lot of I think weird romance, and I think the main guy right here, I think he's like a womanizer. He's always chasing after girls. I don't really know that much, but I knew it was a popular series and I wanted to read it. And if you couldn't tell, this is in Japanese. It's not available in English. I think it had some English release years ago, but all those volumes are out of print and it was never fully released in English. So I heard the Omnibus Collector in one of his videos. He was talking about it. So I went on eBay and I was just looking around at the volumes that they had, people were selling. And I found Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4. I guess I'll show some more art here on the inside. Then we have Volume 5. Then Volume 7. Seller didn't have Volume 6. Volume 8. Then 27. And 28. So I got all of these, I believe it's 9 volumes or something. So I got all of these, I think, for like $30 or so. I think I negotiate on eBay. You know how you can negotiate a price, and you can make an offer and you can try to get the seller to lower the price. So I did that with these volumes. Ooh, one's upside down. And if the seller accepts the price, I think you are legally obligated to buy the volumes. That's what eBay says. Maybe there's a way to get out of it, but so anyway, the seller accepted my offer. I think I lowered it by like $5 or something. So I got these for about $30. And I was surprised that they said yes. The problem, and the thing that makes this whole kind of funny, is I made an offer for another set of City Hunter volumes. This set right here, where's volume 1? Right here, these are, I think, the original printing of City Hunter from, mid 80s to late 90s when the series was coming out. So there are 35 volumes. But then later on, they reprinted City Hunter in sort of a 2-in-1 or so thing that is 12 volumes. And I made a bid, or not a bid, I made an offer. The seller was selling all 12 volumes for $80. I said, how about $60? And they said yes. So I ended up buying not 2 sets, but like 2 different versions of City Hunter. So I have all 12, I have the entire collection of City Hunter volumes in these 12 volumes, and I will show the other 11. You can pause the video right here because there's some English up here that will give you a sense of like what the series is about. By the way, if you did pause it, it says there's a Japanese word mokori or something. I don't know if this is going to show up. Yeah, right there. Apparently, if you Google that, this is the Japanese sound effect or onomatopoeia for something rising, which in the case of this series could mean a penis, could mean an erection. I don't know what I've gotten myself into. Again, this is all Japanese. I will try to, I think I will read this online, and then I will, have the volumes next to me as I go through it. I am currently studying Japanese, so I know a little bit, so maybe this can help me study. So anyway, this is volume 1. Volume 2. These volumes are really nice. I was a little worried because I bought this, as I said, for about $60, and other people were charging so much more for it that I was worried that, maybe I was going to get, shitty quality, but these feel new. I still can't believe that I spent all this money on 2 different versions of City Hunter. And there is a connecting spine image that maybe you guys can start to piece together that I will show you. These volumes are excellent quality too, nice and thick. So if you put the spines together, I'm not going to be able to hold up all 12, but there are 2 different sort of spine images. I hope this is... I think it might... Is it backwards? I don't know. But you can see there's a girl lying there in like a bikini, and he's like, little chibi versions of the character are like jumping up and down on her. It's so weird. As I said, I don't know what I've gotten myself into. Is that the correct phrase? So here's volume 7. This glare is terrible. Eight. Volume 9. Let's look at some art inside again. I kind of like this style of art. To me, it's very like 80s style. But I mean, I'm really looking forward to reading this, to experiencing this series. Fun fact: the author of this series, the writer and author, what's his name? Tsukasa Hojo. I think there's a very good chance that he has read some of my manga, because there is a website called the Silent Manga Edition. I think it's Audition. And they have these contests where you can, it's open worldwide, and you can submit a silent manga, which means no dialogue, based on the contest's guidelines. Like, they'll usually give you some sort of topic or emotion that they want all the submissions to be about. And he's one of the judges. And I've submitted, I think, 2 short stories, maybe, 10, 20 pages each. So I don't know if Hojo Sensei judges personally reads every single thing, but if he does, he has read some of my stories, which, I think they were pretty bad, but that's still kind of cool. Also, I'm blanking on his name, Tetsuo Hara, the illustrator for Fist of the North Star, he is also one of the judges, so there's a chance that these 2 artists, these 2 titans of the industry, have read some of my manga, so that's very exciting. So let me show you this version of the spines. These are volumes 7 through 12. You can see it's so weird. I kind of want to display this in my room, so it's easy, so you can easily see it. I don't know what my parents would say. I think I might just go for it. I think at this point they're sort of they know that this is I like manga, and it's not too risque. Want you to take this down. So I think that is about it. I have a lot of stuff to read. There's about, I think, 32 books here. Not counting the other, I probably have a stack of 20, 30 comics that I've bought over the last several months and still haven't read. And I've been taking manga out from my local library that I want to read. I'm just kind of rambling right now. But anyway, I hope you guys watched all the way to the end. Most of you did not. I can safely say that. So please consider subscribing. Ring the bell. I have a website with some of my art on it. I have a TikTok. I have a Twitter if you're interested in that. But I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I liked buying all this stuff, and I know I'm gonna like reading all of this. And please stay and watch more of my videos. And let me know if you like my hair. I like it. I think it's cool. I look like V from BTS and Boy With Love. So thank you guys for watching.